professional person who has over 50 years of experience in real estate with top companies in India, including Reliance, at very senior positions. And he's none other than Mr. Prakash Beria, who would guide us and enlighten us on what are the real estate issues and how should one handle the real estate issues, especially in Mumbai and other parts of the country. So, Mr. Prakash Beria, welcome to the IBP News.
Thank you.
And we are live now on the IBP News on YouTube. So, could you please tell us about your specialty? What is your specialty as a real estate consultant? And how has been your journey so far? What have you been doing over the last 50 years?
My specialty as a real estate consultant is mainly coming out of legal knowledge. Legal knowledge and the experience which I have derived in my corporate experience with Reliance for more than 2 decades. And we have done the complete land acquisition for all the petrol pumps, 280 petrol pumps, and we have also opened 1,100 retail stores for the telephone infrastructure. That was way back in early century, like 2000 to 2003. The experience mainly comes from the land acquisition and knowledge of the law completely, like RERA laws, land acquisition laws. We have got very antiquated laws in India coming from the British days.
Yes.
And those laws are slowly getting repealed.
Yes.
So all the knowledge of law is very useful when you are dealing with any land acquisitions matters in India. And the various land revenue is there, land stamp duty is there, registration charges are there. There are plethora of charges, plethora of duties which are levied by the government of India.
Right.
And that is a state subject. Each state has got different laws. It is a state subject under the Constitution of India. And being a state subject, different states have got different rate of duties. So all those duties which are there on stamp duties are leviable by the various states, which are ranging from 5% to 8% all over India. And on top of it, they charge some other cess, like metro cess is being charged in Bombay and Pune. 1% extra metro cess is being charged over and above the stamp duty. And there is some local levies, like 1% is being levied in Pune. In addition to stamp duty, 1% extra local levies charged as a stamp duty in case of Pune city. So these kind of charges are being levied. So the knowledge of all these laws, knowledge about the stamp duty and the experience of corporate really is my plus point.
Okay, besides legal aspects of all these things, what are the major aspects that one should consider while buying or selling or something in real estate, especially the corporates? And how do you actually approach the client, or how do your clients approach you? And why they should trust you basically on real estate?
Mr. Mathur, the most important part is the negotiation skill.
Yes.
Because if you're buying a property, which is a very valuable asset, you need to have very good negotiation skills.
Yes.
Because while buying the properties, you have to buy it cheaper. And you have to negotiate it really well, about 10 to 20% cheaper. When you negotiate, then you have advantage while you sell the property. Because after a gap of few years, when you make a good capital gains over the property, you'll be selling the property. When you are selling the property, that time you have to sell it with a discount.
Yes.
Because the buyers will expect some kind of discounts coming from you. So the negotiation is the most important part, where a person should be very skilled in negotiation while buying any property. Apart from validity of the title search has to be done for 30 years. You have to engage an advocate. Suppose you're buying a land in anywhere in India, 30 years search is taken. Search from all the land records are being done, official land records, and 30 years search is being taken. Based on the search, finally, the advocates will give a title certificate that there's no legal case against this property. The property is free from any encumbrances. All those things will be coming in the advocate's title search. So 30 years title search is a must, apart from a skill of negotiation.
Yes, negotiations is very, very important, because we often see that if we are selling a flat or any other corporate property or real estate, we get a lesser price.
Yes.
And if we go to buy the same thing, the price automatically jacks up.
Yes, true.
So how do you actually balance between the two? If you have to buy and sell simultaneously, or if you have to buy and at the same time sell some other property, how do you make the right balance, and so that nobody is at loss, especially the buyer and the seller who is selling the property?
See, basically, there is always a gap between buying and selling.
Yes.
So you are not simultaneously buying or you are not simultaneously selling the property.
Right.
You are buying a property, and nowadays, as per the new income tax laws, the capital gains advantage of 20% only capital gains being charged is not for 3 years; it's for 2 years now. So
Okay.
if you hold a property for 2 years itself, you get advantage of lesser capital gains tax of 20%. So that advantage earlier it was for 3 years holding. Now it's for 2 years holding. So these are the advantages which income tax provides. A lot of advantages and lot of tax rebates are being given by the income tax laws in India. Similarly, all over the world, different governments they give the various tax benefits, tax breaks for investing to real estate property. All over the world, in real estate investment is promoted by the respective governments,
Okay.
and they give some kind of rebate on the rentals. They
Yeah.
don't charge the full tax on the rentals. They give some kind of investment rebate when you are
Right.
when you are buying. You are borrowing some money by taking loans, home loans against the property. Then the home loans which are being taken against the home loans, whatever interest you are paying, the interest is also given as a tax break. In India, it's up to 2 lakhs rupees you get a tax break. That 2 lakhs of the interest on borrowed capital, you get a tax break against your income tax return.
Right.
That means you can deduct 2 lakh rupees out of your taxable income.
Right.
So similarly in UK also, and Japan and China and US, everywhere you find a lot of tax breaks being given, which are similar in nature. Like in India, again, people are not aware that 30% of your rental which you earn, you don't pay tax. You pay tax only on 70% of the rental.
Okay.
So you don't pay 30% rebate is given on the rentals.
Okay.
Now people are not aware of this. This for residential properties.
Right. So you help your clients for buying and selling and do negotiations for them so that they get the best rate either when they are buying or whether they are selling.
See, so far negotiations is concerned, negotiation is left like we are acting as a consultant, we are acting as an intermediary.
Yes.
Being an intermediary, we don't enter into the negotiation for the clients.
No.
Because unless the clients insist or they are requesting us that you enter negotiation on our behalf,
Yes.
for which they have to pay some extra charges.
Right.
Because negotiation is something which the clients have to do, we just charge the brokerage
Yeah.
on the dealings.
Exactly.
One thing, Mr. Mathur, we don't charge any brokerage for new construction properties.
Okay.
Any under construction properties, we get the brokerage from the builders.
Right.
So in our case, in Charming Realtors, our firm, we don't charge any brokerage for under construction properties. We
Right.
give it a free service to all our clients.
So are all these factors, do they help you in building trust amongst your clients or something else extra that you do so that they build that trust that we must go to Prakash Beria and actually take his services? So how do you build trust amongst your clients?
The trust is built basically because of our complete research. Our team does a lot of research and they find out which are the competitive properties and which are the good properties which are coming up in India, and particularly in Bombay, Pune and the MMR region. We do complete research. So we have a team of 5 people who does the complete research on what properties are coming up, what are the RERA, when they are going to submit to the RERA, when they are going to upload the property on the RERA.
Yeah.
And see, under RERA, Mr. Mathur, if you pay 10% of the property price, then you can enter into agreement with the builder.
Okay.
It's a mandatory on the builder to enter into an agreement moment you pay 10% of your total amount payable under the agreement.
Right.
So earlier it was very like, even people were charging more than 20%, 30%, 40% the builders were charging. Once the RERA has come, it has been all streamlined that only 10% payment has to be made and the agreement of sale has to be entered by the all the builders in India.
Yeah.
And this is across India, all the RERA law is similar across the India. So buyers should be aware that more than 10%, if there are any builder is asking without agreement of sale being entered,
Yeah.
that is illegal.
Okay.
So the trust, like you asked the second question, how do you build the trust? So one is the research based. We do the research based.
Yeah.
Based on the research based, the trust is getting created.
Right.
Second is that people are aware that the team has got very good negotiation skills.
Okay.
Then they can get us the prices much cheaper
Yeah.
as compared to we go directly to the builders. We go through Charming Realtors. The prices would be work out much cheaper.
Okay.
Thirdly, we don't charge any brokerage to the under construction properties. We are not charging any brokerage to the clients. So clients get the trust that they are not charging brokerage. They are doing research based information they are giving to us, and on top of it, they are having such a good negotiation skills. Of
Right.
course, for negotiation skills, we charge some nominal amounts
Okay.
because negotiation we don't do free because negotiation requires lot of meetings with the builder. So
Right.
negotiation part we charge, but otherwise if person is not interested and they want to negotiate directly, then we don't charge any brokerage with the clients. But we charge brokerage for the resale properties.
So apart from negotiating with the builder, if you are buying directly from the builder, but if it's a reseller flat or somebody who's selling his flat
Yeah.
or property,
Yes.
do you negotiate with them also on clients' behalf?
Same thing, it happens the same similar situation is there, that there we charge 1% brokerage for buying or selling the property based on the total final price, because it's a resale property.
Right.
And negotiations part, again the buyer or seller, they have to do the negotiations. We directly arrange a meeting between the buyer and seller, and they have to do the negotiation part of it.
Yeah.
We don't enter into the negotiation unless a client is incapable of doing negotiation and they request us to do negotiation on their behalf. We are very good at negotiations,
Right.
but then we are requested for that negotiation, then only we enter the part of the negotiation.
Right.
Otherwise, we enable the complete documentation and we enable the complete arrangement of the meeting between the buyer and seller, between the buyer and the builder. We arrange all the meetings
Yeah.
and timely and without a wastage of time.
Right. But sometimes the clients are educated, they are well-to-do, but not really capable of negotiating or not well-versed with the property laws, etc. So they would actually want assistance or your services while negotiations and all the other things. So if they're willing to pay nominal extra charges,
yes.
would you do that with the buyer, with the seller of properties, the corporates, direct the builders and all these kind of things?
Negotiation is our main skill.
Yeah.
And we have got great leverage on the negotiation part of it.
Right.
So any client engaging us for negotiation will be at a great advantage.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it, Mr. Mathur.
Right.
There's no doubt about it.
Now, this RERA, as you said, is available for residential properties. Is it applicable to corporates as well? Personal
RERA,
properties or commercial properties?
RERA is applicable for anything more than 8 units. Suppose you're having a building which is having 8 units only, total 8 units, not
Yeah.
more than 8 units.
Yeah.
Then the RERA is not applicable. You make a small bungalow with a less than 2,000 square feet of carpet area,
Yeah.
the RERA is not applicable.
Right.
The moment you start making a bigger houses and you want to make it for commercial purposes,
Yeah.
then the RERA is applicable.
Yeah.
Any commercial property which you develop, RERA is applicable. You have to put the project under RERA. You have to take the code for under RERA, and based on the RERA, you cannot unless you register with RERA, you
Right.
can't sell a single immobile property in India
Okay.
other than less than 8 units. You
Right.
make up to 8 units, you can make it sell commercially also. It's
Right.
allowed.
Yeah.
But more than 8 units, you cannot do without RERA registration.
Okay. So basically, commercial units and corporate
Mandatory.
premises are also comes under the purview of RERA.
Provided they sell commercially. If they are doing for their own corporate houses,
Right.
for their own consumption,
Yeah.
then the RERA is not required. RERA is required only if you are selling the units commercially to
Yeah.
outside buyers.
Right.
And otherwise you don't require it. Suppose a corporate wants to develop a corporate building for their own use. They want to make an office building. They want to make a residential building for their employees. All those things RERA is not applicable, because those are property which corporate is developing themselves for their own consumption,
Yes.
for the consumption of their employees.
Okay.
So RERA will not come into picture.
So this was all about residential, person buying property as residential flats or investment flats, etc. But are your services also applicable to corporates? And if yes, then what kind of deals you do with corporates? Which are the different kind of deals that the corporate might like to do and should do in case of buying and selling of properties?
What corporate should do is that they should go for group housing negotiations. Like if the corporate has got many employees,
Yes.
so to give an advantage to the employees, they can enter into group negotiation with the builders.
Right.
If they do group negotiation with the builders, they can get it almost 20% cheaper compared to the market rate.
Exactly.
And because big corporates have the price advantage, they've got negotiation advantage. Builder will know that the payment will come timely because the corporate directly is getting involved. So as a benefit to the staff, benefit to the employees, if corporate negotiates with the builders, it is a very good thing, which normally is not happening in India.
Okay.
It's happening in some other countries, but in India, corporates are not taking giving this advantage to their employees, to their executives. which is a very good thing.
Yeah.
If you do it, then builders are also at advantage because they can do a bulk booking with the corporates.
Yeah.
So they get they have faster cash flows,
Yeah.
and for corporate also, for the benefit of the employees, the discount can come to the various employees, and there is a big advantage, big perquisite. It's a perquisite which the corporate can give to their employees.
Yes.
Many corporates should think on these lines of giving a perquisite in terms of negotiation with the builders on behalf of the employees.
Yeah.
And we can do shortlisting for those property which are required to be based on our research. We can give them support that what builders, what projects they should invest in for the employees, which
Yeah.
are not likely to be any risk of non-completion.
Right. But in case this was in the case of residential buildings where corporates are trying to give accommodation to their own employees or their own senior CEOs, etc. But if they want to buy actually a commercial property for official use, where they want to make offices or warehouses or something, does that have something special deal structuring, or what kind of deal structuring is there in case of such issues where they are buying commercial properties or they are buying residential also? Apart from an individual buying, is there any difference in deal structuring
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah, Mr.
Yes.
Mathur.
Yes.
See, the corporates normally they are big players in the market. Like they are companies like Embassy,
Yeah.
like Mindspace.
Yeah.
They are having REITs, REITs,
Okay.
REITs. Now, based on the REITs, they do investment to corporate commercial properties,
Right.
and those commercial properties are leased out to large corporates.
Right.
They are leased out to large corporates, and based on this complete leasing out to large corporate, they charge rentals.
Right.
So large corporates, they take this property under lease.
Right.
From Embassy, from Mindspace, REITs, or there are other like BlackRock is there internationally. The BlackRock, like there are large corporations who are buying properties, commercial properties, and they are putting on lease.
Yeah.
And once they put on lease, the corporates can take those property on lease, pay the rentals, and they are very high class properties.
Right.
So in terms of buying their own properties, they can lease out the properties. Even the retail also, retail showrooms. This is very common.
Right.
That people go for the lease, like builders, top builders, they will make properties which they will not sell, but
Right.
they will lease out to the corporates. They give long lease. You can give lease up to 9 years in India.
Right.
It's allowed to more than 9 years plus. You can give lease.
Right.
And if you want to give for license, leave-in license,
Right.
leave-in license is applicable up to 60 months.
Right.
So you can give a leave-in license for 60 months, which is allowed under Bombay Rent Act. Bombay Rent Act allows up to 60 months of licensing.
That's about 5 years.
5 years it is allowed.
Ah.
But if you are giving any long-term lease where you have to pay the stamp duty as if it is the buying agreement,
Okay.
lease attracts the same stamp duty as buying if the period is 9 years or above.
So people can do 5 years and extend it.
Then
again
extend
to
for another 5 years.
5
You can
years
extend
and I
it.
like that.
Yeah, you can
to-
do that.
to
There's a very
that.
good way, but it's available only in Bombay.
It's available only.
Bombay
Not
Rent
outside
No,
Bombay.
Maharashtra Rent Control Act allows this.
Okay.
Maharashtra Rent Control Act allows this. License is not available in many parts of India. Very few states have got the license arrangements.
Okay. But this is applicable to both residential and corporate
Commercial.
offices, warehouses, showrooms.
Everywhere you can go for licenses up to 5 years.
And is deal structuring different in residential and different in commercial complexes? Or it is similar or same?
No, deal structuring is very different for residential and for commercial.
Okay.
In residential, there are units of 2 BHK apartment, 3 BHK apartment. Nowadays in Bombay, no one is making 1 BHK apartments.
Right.
Because people have stopped making 1 BHK apartment or studio apartments. But 2 BHK and 3 BHK apartments are most common in Bombay right now.
Right.
So the normal structures of the apartments are 2 BHK, 3 BHK, 4, 5 and 6. Or say some few penthouses and other things, Luxury property have got penthouses as well.
Yeah.
Whereas in commercial properties, they are like either they are industrial estates or they are offices which are of say 1,000 square feet, 2,000 square feet,
Right.
500 square feet. All the offices are there. So they are sometimes common toilets.
Yeah.
They don't have like washrooms within the offices.
Yeah.
Many times they have common washrooms on the same floor.
Yeah.
There are some common amenities like what you call your business center. They have business center
Yes.
on each floor. They provide business centers.
Yeah.
And they also provide like housekeeping and other services on each floor,
Yeah.
which normally these things are not available in case of residential apartments.
Yes.
So the structuring of the premises for residential and commercial has got different structure. altogether.
Right.
Altogether.
So the deal that you make or the agreement you make will be different, specific mention of all these kind of things that you
Yes.
just mentioned.
Yes. All the amenities which are being provided under commercial or residential, they are listed out as a schedule. And as per the schedule, whatever listing has been done,
Yeah.
based on the listing, all the items of amenity which are there, they are listed and they form part of the agreement of sale.
Right.
So a schedule is entered where all these various amenities like swimming pool or your health club or yoga center and play garden and other things, whichever is there,
Yeah.
all those things are listed as amenities and they are part of the schedule of amenities to the agreement of sale.
Yeah.
Similarly, whatever in commercial premises, whatever amenities are being provided, such as business centers,
Right.
the housekeeping services, security services, intercom and business PBX, and other things which are given. They are all given as a schedule of amenities, or they have the coffee shop, or cafeteria. In case of business premises, all those things are listed as amenity and they form part of the schedule of amenities to the agreement of sale.
Okay. So when you're structuring the deal, does charming realtors help them to actually structure the deal and also ensure that all amenities or all that things that you mentioned are provided, or that is the part of the client that he has to confirm?
No, we do end-to-end service and we ensure that the whatever standard RERA agreement is uploaded on the site.
Yes.
Exactly the same RERA agreement which is uploaded on the site.
Yeah.
The same thing is being given word to word. There shouldn't be any changes. There shouldn't be any changes. That one agreement or one list of amenities they are uploading on the RERA site, and they are showing another list of amenities, lesser list of amenities to the client.
Right.
So all those things we have to be very careful.
Yeah.
Then one has to completely compare
Yes.
that what the builder is uploaded on the RERA site and what actually they are offering on hard copy. So it's very, very important to word by word compare everything and be ensured that builder is not doing any short change with the client and not doing any fraud.
Right. And apart from that, one thing that comes to my mind, Mr. Beria, is that there are a lot of these educational institutes which are coming up now. Whether they are coaching classes, whether they are proper institutes and schools or management institutes and hotel management institutes, which do not have property of their own. They normally rent out, and the structuring of that has to be as per the classroom and administration blocks. And
Play
things
schools,
play schools, smaller properties.
management institutes.
Management institutes which have a larger properties and the requirements are different. So does Charming Realtors, your company, also service to these kind of institutes, and
Yeah.
do you find spaces for them?
They are our main clients. In
Yeah.
fact, our commercial clientele is our main clientele.
Yes.
We deal with all these education institutions. We deal with all the management institutes. We deal with the play schools. People who want to do play schools, we deal with them, provide premises for them.
Yeah.
So basically, the commercial premises, commercial clients are the main foray. They are hotels, they are hospitals
Right.
who require premises.
Right.
Many nursing homes require the premises.
Yes.
So all those things which are like institutes, hospitals, hotels, they many. I know one hotel which is listed company. They don't buy the property. They don't buy hotels. They lease out the hotels.
Right.
And for 15 years, 20 years.
Yes.
I don't want to name the company
Exactly.
here, but
I am aware
I don't
of
want to
this,
name
yes.
the company. But it's a very good model
Yes.
where they do long-term leasing of new hotel properties and they manage the properties
Yes.
and they earn out of the management of the properties. But they don't own the properties. So the leasing is a very good model.
Yes.
In real estate, the leasing is a very good model. And as I mentioned to you, REIT, REIT is a instrument like mutual fund, where a small investor also can to invest. They can invest 5,000 rupees per month also, or 50,000 rupees per month. They can invest into REIT. And REIT is a very new way of investment other than the fixed deposits and mutual funds. People should look at REIT as an investment in their investment portfolio because the return is fixed. Almost you get 6% return,
Yeah.
6 to 7% return you get on REIT as a dividend
Yes.
from the company who is floating the REIT.
Yeah.
There are the two bigger REIT in India which are listed on stock exchange. One is Embassy and second is the Mindspace.
Okay.
There are two very prominent REIT. You can buy the REIT in the secondary market by buying the REIT in the, like you're buying shares. You can buy REIT, you can buy. So plus the biggest advantage of REIT is that apart from getting a dividend, like a share you get a dividend, the appreciation of the property is also shared. The appreciation of the property when they buy the commercial property which they are leasing out, They are very high class clients they've got, and all the rentals income which they come from the corporate clients. All these rental incomes are clubbed together, and they pay out the dividend out of that. And after 5-7 years, when the appreciation of the property takes place, they sell those property as well to international clients, and they make capital gains out of selling those premises, commercial premises.
That benefit is passed
and
on
the
to
capital, capital gains benefit is also passed on to the REIT holders.
That's a good option.
So,
yes.
so that's as a shareholder. REIT are like a shareholders to REIT companies. So they not only get the dividend, they also get the advantage of capital gains. So REIT is a very, very good investment tool in the hands of common investors.
So these facilities that we just talked about, educational institute, coaching classes, play schools, hospitals, nursing homes, and all gyms, commercial gyms, etc. So are there any specific laws for them or anything mentioned in the RERA that these are the requirements they should fulfill, and you as a consultant, real estate consultant, would have to look into it and ensure that all these requirements are met when the client is buying or leasing these kind of properties?
The requirement which are mandatory under RERA are common for residential premises or commercial premises.
Okay.
Everyone is bound to give their completion period.
Okay.
The project completion period has to be specified.
Yeah.
If you delay in completion of the project, then the huge penalties are being levied by the RERA authorities.
Yeah.
So the delay does not take place, because if you are buying a RERA registered property, which normally you have to buy a RERA registered property only, because everyone has to register with RERA. So you are bound to get the project completed in time. So the biggest advantage of RERA has come by way of avoidance of all the kind of frauds which builders were doing earlier. All those small fly-by-night operators which were there, they all stopped now, because the RERA registration brings under its jacket lot of advantages to the buyers, to the whether they are residential property or the commercial property. They are equally put to an advantage by introduction of RERA in India.
Right.
Now you will not be surprised. You will be surprised that RERA has also could be implemented in Dubai now. Where very less laws are there, but they have introduced RERA. Because Dubai is a very mushrooming real estate market, and they have introduced RERA over there, and they have copied most of the Indian laws.
All right. Now coming back to Mumbai, where we are, and other parts of Maharashtra, what is the current real estate residential especially scenario in Mumbai, especially?
See, the real estate per se, if you really are looking from appreciation angle, the appreciation of real estate presently is not that much there, because Bombay city is growing and is developing infrastructure wise heavily. And if you see really, if persons are very prudent, they've got prudence in their mind, and they are very intelligent, then those people, though they know appreciation of property is happening for last few years in Bombay. But if you really see with the infrastructure, the way the coastal road is coming up, the metros are about 17 metros are getting implemented. Out of the 5 are already implemented in MMR region. With all the implementation of the metro and coastal roadways and lot of flyovers and high-rise flyover and Trans-Harbour Link, which has been already set up, a new international airport at Padvel. So the property infrastructure is coming out beautifully in Bombay. So the appreciation will take place. Certainly there will be a spurt in appreciation after 5 years.
After 5 years?
Yes, I personally feel after 5 years, Bombay market will definitely appreciate, and it may appreciate by almost 25%.
Oh, that's a big jump.
25% jump. It will get 20 to 25% jump. It will get, and all this like 4-5 years appraisal which has not taken place will all start happening in a spurt. That's what I personally feel, because the infrastructure is really coming out very well.
Is the same with commercial properties?
Yes, it will happen in commercial property will be to a bigger advantage.
Okay, why do you say so?
Because commercial properties are in scarcity of supply, number one. Good commercial properties are not available, and even retail space, so shops and other things also, they are very limited in Bombay as compared to the demand. So if anyone has to really look from the investment scenario, and they want appreciation of property, they should invest into commercial property rather than residential properties. Commercial has got a lot of advantages by way of appreciation, and the possibility of appreciation will be very high.
So would you advise that investment in Mumbai is profitable at this stage? So it would be advisable to invest now and reap benefits after 3 to 5 years?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes.
People are looking for last 5-7 years appreciation not taken place,
Yes.
and they are getting little depressed about it. That's why we have invested in some properties and appreciation not taken place. But they should wait. There's a wait for 3-4 years. Appreciation will definitely bound to take place in Bombay and entire MMR region.
Yes.
Entire MMR region. New Bombay is one classic example,
Yes.
or Thana is a classic example.
Yeah.
So all these places also there will be a lot of appreciation with the Trans Harbour link coming up, coastal roadways coming up to Virar finally, and your second sea link also coming up from up to Barsoa,
Yes.
and a lot of flyovers and other metros which are getting implemented. All those things will bring a lot of smooth traffic in Bombay, and all this smooth traffic in Bombay will ultimately lead a lot of migrations will start happening back to Bombay.
Yes.
I even feel that there will be commercial migration happening back to Bombay.
And it is spreading all over Mumbai rather than concentrating.
Yes, exactly.
As per, because the residentials are all spreading
Yes.
and going far away places.
True.
So people also would like to work and have their offices somewhere close, so
True.
that their traveling time reduces. And therefore, I can now feel that corporates are also moving ahead from the so-called hubs in the earlier days, like Nariman Point or something of that sort. There are different hubs coming up.
Yeah, you are right. There are micro markets which
So
are
is
getting.
that a part of all this that you are talking, that commercial complexes are coming up at regular intervals at certain distances, so
You
that
are-
it's easier for people
You are
to
exactly.
actually,
You are exactly
it's
on the
accessible.
point. You are
Yeah?
exactly on the point.
Yeah.
If you really see, the earlier Nariman Point used to be the only place where the corporate
Yeah.
culture was there, and all these banks and all these corporates were having their buildings in 70s and 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Nariman Point was the in thing.
Yeah.
After that, Bandra Kurla complex got developed,
Yes.
and Bandra Kurla complex and next to Kalina and Kurla,
Yeah.
it has come out beautifully, where all the land is already grabbed,
Yes.
and all these large corporates have got their independent buildings.
Yes.
Banks have got their independent buildings.
Right.
Diamond Browse is there.
Yeah.
Then your National Stock Exchange is there. So plus Reliance has come out with large property over there.
Yeah.
They have come out with a very large convention center, largest in Asia,
Yeah.
largest in Asia convention center. So all the infrastructure which is developed in BKC has made BKC a beautiful commercial hub. And now next is the line is your Mindspace.
Mindspace.
In Mindspace in Malad, Goregaon,
Yeah.
it will come out beautifully with a very large propensity of growth of commercial infrastructure in Bombay. And similarly, in New Bombay, Wasi,
Yeah.
Sanpada is coming out as a commercial hub. And same way in Thana also,
Yeah.
Pokhran area and other areas are getting developed as a large commercial hub.
Yeah.
So you are exactly on the point, Mr. Mathur, that different micro markets are getting developed.
Yeah.
And earlier, people were one-way direction, going from north to south for attending your office. That is a very old story.
Yeah.
And now there are pockets which are nearer to a house.
Yeah.
So your travel time in Bombay will also reduce. So that travel time which is going to reduce because of the disbursement of the commercial premises, commercial hubs is a great advantage for Bombay, which will lead to migration back to Bombay.
Yes. In near future, do you see this disbursement of commercial complexes and residential complexes moving further towards the north or Navi Mumbai side and Thane, so that it gets an equal distribution and people have more access from the residences and easy access from the
It's
residences?
already happening.
Yes.
And with inauguration of the new international airport at Panvel,
Yes.
the areas like CBD Belapur, which was earlier it was a failure. CBD Belapur was a failure earlier because it was premature.
Yes.
Implementation of CBD Belapur as an office complex was premature.
Yeah.
But now CBD Belapur also will get occupied. And there will be a lot of commercial complexes which will become in Dronagiri. Logistics parks are established in Dronagiri, and warehouses complexes are getting established. Logistic parks are getting established in Dronagiri, Ulve, and other places.
Yes.
So with international cargo hub and passenger hub coming up in Panvel, you are right that commercial hubs of Bombay will also get implemented in New Bombay as well.
And further down Ballard towards the north.
And Mindspace in our western suburb, Mindspace will really come out very well. And even Oshiwara, is developing as a commercial hub.
Commercial
Or you are Ram Mandir, Ram
And any
Mandir area.
chances going beyond Malad towards the north?
Yeah, it can go up to Virar, Vasai. Vasai is a very good commercial hub.
Yeah.
Like Vasai can become, and Palghar, for example, Palghar is getting connected to the bullet.
Yes.
The bullet train will have a stop in Palghar. So
Yeah.
Palghar has got a very good advantage
Right.
by way of location. And I personally feel that down 7 years down the line,
Yeah.
Palghar will be very high, very good, appreciable property investment one can do in Palghar.
Yeah.
Palghar is a place where you can invest now and
Yeah.
reap the benefit after 7 years.
7 years.
Palghar.
So accordingly, when the commercial complexes move, offices move, the residential also will move,
Yes.
and Mumbai will get lesser and lesser cluttered,
Yes.
and traffic will
It will
ease
be
out.
equally distributed. Equally
Yeah, it will be
distributed.
equally distributed. So much about this. And in your interview in the beginning, you mentioned that you have worked on land acquisitions as well.
Yes.
Could you explain what is the concept of land acquisition? What does it mean? And what kinds of deals you do in land acquisition? What exactly is land acquisition?
Acquisition means acquiring.
Yes.
Acquiring means purchasing.
Yeah.
So basically, land acquisition has got 2-3 components.
Right.
One is the component of land where suppose newly plotted lands are there,
Yeah.
which are developed into plotted lands,
Yeah.
and the plot of land which are divided,
Yeah.
they are sold.
Yeah.
So all these those who are acquiring these lands, who are owning these plots, they are the acquirer for this land. So they are doing the land acquisition.
Yeah.
Similarly, the land is acquired by corporates for putting their factories, plants, their logistic hubs, their warehouses. So all those land has to be acquired. Purchase. Acquisition is nothing but purchase. So land purchase.
Yeah.
Now land purchase is something which is required every organization, every human being has to acquire land.
Yes.
Those who cannot acquire land directly, they acquire the flats.
Yes.
They are buying the flats or
Exactly.
properties.
Right.
And ultimately, the most real estate is the real estate.
Right.
Real estate is the real asset.
Right.
Because the other stock market and other things are all paper currencies.
Exactly.
Because they can go up and down.
Yeah.
But real estate in the long term will always, you'll reap the rewards, reap the rewards out of the real estate.
Right. So acquisition is acquiring, but where do you acquire from? From private parties, from government, or where do you acquire these lands?
Most of the land acquisitions happen by way of conversion of the agriculture to non-agriculture.
Okay.
Primarily, India is the agricultural economy. It used to be earlier,
Yeah.
but now it has become a service country, service economy.
Yeah.
Our more than 50% of our Indian gross revenue, which we earn in India, is coming out of IT, ITES,
Yeah.
from gems and jewelry exports, and from medical services,
Yeah.
and BPO, KPO, and other services which you are providing.
Yes.
So most of these service industries are mushroomed in India,
Yes.
and it was earlier used to be agriculture economy. So what is happening that there is a migration from rural to urban.
Yes.
All across in India, there is the migration from rural to urban,
Yeah.
and the urban infrastructure has to develop more and more buildings have to come up in the urban tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities. They have to grow, and there will be better urbanization in India, and very fast is happening very fast, urbanization. So your question that where from the land come from?
Yeah.
Land primarily comes from agriculture. Is converted into non-agriculture, for which you require to pay some charges to government, state governments, and they make it a NA. This is called NA. So from agriculture you make an NA land, and having made NA, then you can put to any use. You can make hotel, hospitals, corporate houses, residential buildings.
Right.
All those you can do once you convert from agriculture to non-agriculture. So conversion is required.
Yeah.
You have to convert.
So anything apart from agriculture to non-agriculture, are there any other lands earmarked for different kind of activities by the government, and the conversions happen there also, from say agriculture to commercial, or some other property
Yes.
where the
Yes.
government has marked for
Yes.
parks or for some IT hubs, etc.
Yes,
if they need
yes.
to convert?
The one great area of conversion
Yes.
is happening industrial estates.
Yeah.
Like MIDC, Maharashtra Industrial Development Corporation.
Yes.
Now MIDC, they've got a different zone zone A, B, C,
Right,
D.
right,
They have
right.
got different zoning,
Yeah.
and they develop the agriculture land into industrial zone completely,
Yeah.
and then they allot those things. Those who apply for the plots,
Yeah.
those who apply to set up the industries, they can buy the land from the MIDC. Like MIDC, each state, like GIDC, Gujarat Industrial Development Corporation, each state develop the agriculture land into industrial hubs.
Yeah.
So there is one way of doing it. Then there are a lot of hospitals. There are a lot of primary health centers which are started by government all over the villages, in the rural villages. So they acquire the agriculture land, convert into hospitals,
Yeah.
clinics, and all those things.
Right.
So there are different kind of warehouses being created by government, like FCI, Food Corporation of India,
Right.
has got a lot of warehouses. They go on making new warehouses for storing the food grains all across India, for distributing to their labor welfare schemes,
Yeah.
public welfare schemes.
Exactly, yes.
So they more and more warehouses are being developed
Right.
by government of India and the various state governments.
Yeah. So is the deal structuring different in these kind of acquisitions? And what kind of deals do you do? What is your role in acquisition of lands and helping the client to acquire? What kind of deals and what is the actually consult? How do you consult and do that part?
So deal structuring, so far as government is concerned, when the government is acquiring land for warehouses or for primary health centers or for hospitals and schools, those are acquired at a very nominal price by the government,
Right.
and they pay the whatever land acquisition laws are there.
Yeah.
By the land acquisition law, there are mandatory prices have to be paid. Compensatory prices to be paid to farmers.
Yes.
So farmers are well compensated. It's not that farmers are not, there is any compulsory acquisition of land is being done by government and farmers are not getting compensated. So there is a very good compensation given by to the farmers when they acquire the land.
Yeah.
Even the lands are getting acquired for making highways, for various roads.
Yeah.
A lot of land is being acquired by government, and they pay 4 times the market price.
Yes.
4 times the market price is paying by government.
Okay.
So government of India is very prudent, and they do all the acquisitions by paying very handsomely to the people who are surrendering the land to the government for highways, for hospitals, hotels, or for schools and all those things, or primary health clinics. So all those people who are giving the land, surrendering the land to government, they are handsomely rewarded.
Right.
There's a part of the government.
Yeah.
Same way state government also does the same thing. But when it comes to acquisition of land for private purposes, now acquisition of land for private purposes which is there, now that is all at market rate.
Yeah.
The market rate determined, it all depends on demand and supply. It all depends on demand and supply. In various pockets where the demand is more, prices are more. And if the demand is less, prices are less.
Yeah.
So basic economics plays its role.
Okay. So whatever we discussed so far, it appears as if there are a lot of aspects to it. Legal, of course, being the major one. Then there are certain RERA laws, and there are certain acquisition laws, etc. And everything is structured very well by the government. So what are the cautions, the buyers should exercise before buying any property, whether residential or commercials? What all the aspects they should look into it so that they don't enter into any complication, any frauds at a later stage?
This is a very, very good question, because most of the many buyers, maybe viewers right now in audience also, we have got a lot of buyers who are interested in buying properties.
Right.
Most important part is the title to the property.
Right.
The legal title of the property, the most important part for which one has to engage. Suppose you're buying any land, anywhere in India, you're buying any land, piece of land, then you should go for 30-year search. 30-year search is mandatory. What is the meaning of the 30-year search? You engage an advocate, you engage the advocate who does the title searches, and he will go into the land records for that area, locality, to the government records, and find out that whether any loan has been taken on that land by anyone, anyone has taken any loan against the property, whether there is any dispute in the property which has gone to the court of law. So all those kind of impediments or encumbrances which on the land are all ruled out. So basically the search will be conducted for last 30 years of the property from today, and it will be established that there are no legal cases pending against the land, there is no dispute, there is complete title is clear, absolutely, and the person who is seller, intending seller, is actually the owner. So all those things are established by the advocate.
Right.
So title search is the most important part, number one.
Okay.
Number two, if you are buying a flat, for example, or a commercial unit you are buying, then you should go for RERA registered property only.
Okay.
So RERA registered properties, RERA laws is very perfect in this structure. So once the project is registered under RERA, then all the information which is required is available on website of the builder. So you can go through all this complete document. You can take help of a consultant like us.
Yeah.
You can take help, and they can do search for you, and they can go into all the legal documents of RERA and find out that whether when the property is going to get completed, what is the completion schedule given over there, and what are the amenities being given there.
Right.
All those things are basically, one has to go to the website of the project and see in detail all the things, whatever has been uploaded. They have to go word by word.
Right.
Word by word, they have to go and find out loopholes if anything is a builder is trying to play around. For
You also have to do physical inspection of the property to match the.
Yes, it's very, very important. Physical inspection of the plot is very, very important. One should go and see nearby. Sometimes, on paper what you see, you may not come to know. There may be slums around. There may be some kind of tabela around.
Yes.
Where tabela is nothing but a cow shed. Cow shed or buffalo shed. So those things the builder will not upload. But if you go to the proper site, then you really come to know what are the advantage or disadvantage. Sometimes you will find that the plot is just next to the railway line. It may become very noisy to take a flat over there. So all those things we will not find from the RERA website. You have to go physically and see the plot. This is very, very important. This is the third thing. Title search, RERA uploaded documents. Third, physical inspection of the site of the plot. These three things are most important.
And when you do all that, is your firm capable enough and well structured and have the infrastructure and staff to look into all these aspects at the same time?
We have full-fledged teams looking for research for which property are worth buying. We completely help in all the aspects of title search also. I myself am a lawyer as well. So we have a team of people who help in title search. We do complete inspection of all the uploaded documents on RERA. We also help in site visits of the plots, and we also help in negotiations. So end to end, we provide all the services.
So it's like a one-stop shop for real estate.
Yes, you can say that.
The buyer or the seller doesn't have to go to 10 different people.
They can go to our competitors if they want.
So
but if they come to us, they'll get all services under one roof. There are real estate consultants who would do only buying and selling. Other aspects, the buyer or seller himself or herself has to take care of. He has to find an advocate. He has to find other property searches or etc. But yours is a one-stop shop. Once it comes to you, he doesn't have to run around anywhere. All the services
you provide.
He can negotiate which services you want, and based on he can tick mark that this services we want. We don't want these services. Then we can provide those services to them. No issue. Absolutely no issue.
So
that's how we are growing.
Yeah, exactly. And now we spoke a lot about Mumbai, but are there any other profitable options in real estate, residential or commercial, outside Mumbai, Thane, Navi Mumbai, etc.? What do you call the Mumbai area and Navi Mumbai area? Outside cities, the other cities in Maharashtra, Pune, Nasik, and as you go deeper into B and C class towns, are there still profitable options in real estate? And what is the scenario there?
The Samruddhi Maha Highway, which has been almost constructed now, is getting fully inaugurated. The last leg also is getting implemented this week. So the entire from Mumbai to Nagpur Samruddhi Highway has been completely constructed and inaugurated. Now, because of that, the Vidarbha region and Nagpur region has got a lot of potential of growth now. Nagpur is coming out very beautifully. Nasik is coming out very beautifully. Kolhapur is coming out very nicely. Kolhapur. So all these are pocket: Nasik, Kolhapur, Solapur, Vidarbha, Akola, Nagpur. All the areas are really coming out very well, and this Samruddhi Maha Highway is a big boon for real estate development of Maharashtra state. Similarly, if you see nationally, Gurgaon is coming out very beautifully. A lot of expats are there which are made Gurgaon as their second home. So Gurgaon is coming out. Hyderabad
Yeah.
It's a beautiful city. It's coming out very well. Bangalore, of course, is quite saturated now, but it's growing as well.
Yeah.
Bangalore, because it's highly populated and congested,
Yeah.
like what congestion we used to find in Bombay, we are finding in Bangalore. But
Yeah.
they are also creating more infrastructure, and Bangalore also will develop very well because the IT infrastructure and
Exactly.
IT companies are there, and climate is also much more salubrious, good
Yeah.
climate in
Yeah.
Bangalore relatively. So Bangalore also will develop, but presently it's little congested, for which the infrastructure is getting developed by Karnataka government. But apart from Gurgaon, if you really see, Nagpur is one center. Even Jaipur is coming out very well.
Very well.
Even Ahmedabad is coming out very well. With bullet train coming between Bombay and Ahmedabad, and in 2 hours you can travel to Ahmedabad. Then not only Palghar in Maharashtra will develop, but Ahmedabad also will develop. And all the
Exactly.
cities which are coming in between Bombay and Ahmedabad, they will really have very good growth.
Yeah. And within Maharashtra, apart from these metros and A-class towns like Pune, Nasik, Nagpur that you mentioned, are there any B and C-class cities which are also coming up, may not be commercially, but residentially and agriculturally, which are worth investing or worth living in?
All district headquarters.
Okay.
In Maharashtra, you got so many districts. All the district headquarters is a very good place to invest. And there the investment should be done on not only residential. You should do investment in commercial properties, because there are classrooms, classes, there are clinics, there are small hotels. They are all coming up there. So all the district centers which are there, they are very good place for making investment where appreciation of property will take place. But one thing, Mr. Mathur, you should not invest your any property away from your house. You should be within your 60-70 kilometers.
Within your reach,
Within your reach.
accessible.
Within 60-70 kilometers. You should not go beyond. Like if I find Nagpur is a very good place to invest, sitting in Bombay, I should not invest in Nagpur. People
What
who are
is
in
the
Nagpur,
specific reason for that?
because it's difficult to manage. And property is such a thing, they're very high, very costly asset.
Yes.
And there's chance of encroachment. There may be goons who can take care of if you are not visiting your property. Even if you are under lock and key, there is chance of adverse possession is there. Someone else can break the lock and occupy the house. You will not come to know also. So basically, you should not make any investment which is beyond 70 kilometers from your residence. You should try to do within 100 kilometers maximum. You should not go beyond 100 kilometers, ideally.
Okay. Now, considering all that we have discussed so far, and the knowledge that you have given us, what are the biggest challenges, according to you, that a buyer faces, especially in Mumbai and Maharashtra and other parts of India, while buying a flat or any other commercial complex? What are the biggest challenges he faces? Because most of them, even if they are A-class towns and they are A-class, upper A-class society people, earning well, educated, but they may not be familiar with too much about real estate. So which are the biggest challenges that they face, and how should they overcome?
See, despite implementation of RERA, builders keep giving false advertisements.
Yes.
The false advertisements keep coming. People are putting a lot of big flashy advertisements in newspapers, print media, and on TV and all that, and they promise the moon. They promise the moon to the buyers, and at a very cheap price. Now you should understand that real estate is a very high class asset, quality asset. It cannot come cheap. So people out of greed they go to such builders who are fly by night operators. This is mainly happening in class 3, class 4 cities and the smaller mufussil towns. It's happening more, where people are saying, okay, we have got this plot of land, buy this plot of land, along with the plot of land we'll give a piece of gold. Now land, you are selling land or you are selling gold. So these kind of things, like you buy one plot of land, we'll give you one gold coin. Now, are they in the business of selling real estate, or are they in the business of selling gold?
Exactly.
So they should make up the mind. So people should be very careful from people who are trying to, sowing the carrots. Sowing the carrots. Okay, you take gold coin, you buy our plot. Those plot you will not be able to ever sell it. If you buy that plot, you will not able to sell it ever in your life. So you should be very careful from such advertisements.
So, in spite
and
of
don't invest anything other than RERA registered properties. Go for projects which are registered under RERA. Don't buy anything non-RERA.
Sometimes, Mr. Beria, we see even after you go for a RERA registered project, we see that a lot of people end up with legal, lot of litigations, lot of issues with the builder. How do you address that? How does the one actually overcome even after RERA if he or she is facing some
No,
difficulty?
there are some genuine difficulties with the builders. Sometimes what happens due to certain regions,
Yeah.
certain labor shortage of labor,
Yeah.
or due to certain other dispute between the partners.
Yeah.
Between the partners, they have a dispute. So because of those regions, some projects are delayed.
Yeah.
The projects are delayed under RERA also.
Yeah.
But the propensity of delay has come down to almost 10%.
Yeah.
See, earlier used to be 40%, 50% risk of non-completion in time.
Right.
Now the risk has come down below 10%.
Right.
So RERA has become a big boon for buyers, very big boon for buyers.
Apart from delay in possession, etc., there are certain other difficulties also. Whether the possession, whether the it is the amenity promised are not there, or not well maintained, or not in proper condition when the flat is handed over. They say OC is received, but it is not received. Multiple issues, and then the buyer moves into the flat, has paid almost 60, 70, 80% of the money, and doesn't know what to do with it.
No, because see, the buyer is not aware.
Yeah.
They should deal with through some good real estate consultant, because under RERA,
Yeah.
you, before taking possession and making final payment,
Yeah.
you are given inspection of the property.
Right.
So while you are inspecting the property, all the snags
Yeah.
which are there in the property,
Right.
all the defects or deficiency which are there in the property, you can list out and give to the builder that all these defects which are there, all these snags have to be corrected.
Right.
So all those snags have to be corrected. SNAG,
Right.
snags.
Snags.
So all the snags have to be corrected.
Mhm.
So there is a snag report which is given. So the buyer should be aware that they can make a complete list of deficiencies,
Yeah.
give to the builder, and then only they pay. After they are corrected, then only they should pay. They should not make the final payments.
And if it gets stuck and get dispute between this thing, no, this is what we had promised. He said
No,
no.
about that, the RERA court is there.
Yeah.
You can approach for the grievance redressal to the RERA court.
Are they fast enough?
Very
for that?
fast.
Very fast.
They're very fast. They are
Are
always
they time bound that within?
yes, time bound, and the decisions are coming very fast.
Huh.
And this RERA is for the protection of the buyers.
Yeah.
RERA is not for the protection of the builders.
Builders, yeah.
RERA is for the protection of the common buyers.
And do people really get relief under RERA?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, they get
They
relief.
don't. The cases go on forever.
Plus, they should hire some good real estate consultant as well.
Obviously.
Because RERA authorities will not help you everywhere.
Yeah.
There should be good real estate consultants
Yeah.
who can give you good services.
Good, sir.
They can help you in every step of your investment or your ultimate disposal of the property
Yeah.
after you earn a lot of capital gains.
Yeah.
So at every stage you require an expert.
Yeah.
You have to go to expert.
Now, after taking care of all these things, legal, RERA, etc., we find that the residential properties, especially in Mumbai, have very low yields,
Yes.
rental yields.
True.
What is the reason for that, and how does one actually get over it?
See the yield, what is yield?
Yeah,
I'll explain you what is the ROI and what is yield.
yeah,
ROI means return on investment.
right,
Suppose you are buying a property of 1 crore
right,
and you bought it some 10 years back,
right,
and you are getting on that 1 crore property, today the market price could be 5 crores,
right,
but you bought it on 1 crore. Suppose you are getting a rent of 10 lakhs
right.
on that property. Today you have rented out the property and are getting 10 lakh rupee rent. So your return of investment is 10%.
10%.
On 1 crore you are earning 10 lakhs rupees.
Right.
So that's your return of ROI.
Right. Yeah.
Now what is yield? Yield is nothing but your return of this 10 lakh rupees which you are earning as a rent on a market price.
On the
Market price.
Okay.
Now the market price suppose is 5 crores and you are earning say 10 lakh rupees
10
on that.
lakh rupees.
So you are getting 2% yield.
2%.
So in terms of 10% ROI, because ROI is calculated always on that actual investment,
Actual investment.
price,
Yeah.
and yield is calculated always on the
On
market,
the market
value.
price.
So the yield which is coming low in Bombay, in Bombay normal yield on the market price is low because the market price is high.
Yeah.
Because the market price is high, the yield is low.
Right.
There is a reason.
Okay.
The property market price is very high in Bombay
Right.
and Gurgaon.
Yeah.
That's why the yield is lesser, because the rental has not grown up that much as compared to the appreciation of the properties.
But as we discussed earlier, the demand is going up. People are wanting to buy flats and invest in flats. In spite of that, why the rentals are not going up?
See, rental is a proposition for demand and supply.
Right.
It's all question of demand and supply.
Exactly.
In Bombay market, the rentals have gone up recently because of redevelopment of properties.
Right.
Most of the properties which are old, more than 50-year-old, they are getting redeveloped now.
Yeah.
Because the redeveloped properties, the property has to be demolished, and all the people who are occupying the property have to temporarily, for 3 to 4 years, they have to move to a rental house.
Right.
So suddenly in Bombay, you are finding a spurt of rental increase. Yield has gone up. Yield has gone up. Rentals have gone up in Bombay because of redevelopment of many properties in western suburbs or in eastern suburbs. A lot of properties are getting demolished which are more than 50-year-old, and the new builder who comes for developing that property, they provide the rent to the people who are vacating the property. They vacate and go to elsewhere. They will keep the property ready in 4 years' time, and those people who have moved to the rental house, they can come back to their larger flats. They will get larger flats. So all the redevelopment of property, which is a very good thing, which is happening, will change the skyline of Bombay. It's going to completely change the skyline of Bombay very shortly. So rental yields have gone up. Recently it has gone up, and it will go up further. In next 1 year, yield will go up further because of more demand for rental houses.
Because of redevelopment, and in another 3 to 5 years, after a lot of redevelopment has actually happened, you still see the yield going up for rental properties?
See, yield is a factor of market price and the rent which you receive.
Right.
If your property is appreciating, then you should not be worried about that much about the yield. Because yield, what is your total gain? Total gain is your yield. The yield which you get plus the appreciation of the property. So if you are buying a property and put on rent, you get rent plus you get the appreciation. So if the appreciation of the property is happening, even if your yield is less, taken together, the rent yield plus the appreciation of the property is your actual return. That's your actual return. So you should be happy. You should be happy to get a lower yield provided the property is appreciating.
Okay.
If property is appreciating, that's your capital gains. So yield plus capital gains is your profit. Yield plus capital gains in your profit. So you should be happy. You should not just look to the yield. You should also look to the appreciation of the property. And taken together is your total profit in real estate.
A few minutes ago, we also spoke about a concept called REITs, REITs.
Yes.
You said it is similar to mutual funds and it's a good deal. So, does it carry the same risks as the mutual fund? And is it a good option for investors, not really buyers and sellers for residential property, but for investors to invest in REITs? If you can revisit them and explain it more in detail as an investment option.
Now, I'll just tell you what is REIT. REIT. Real Estate Investment Trust. Is a trust. Is a large house which has floated this instrument. Now, what is this instrument? This instrument is nothing but a fraction of a real estate. You are owning a fraction of the real estate. That's what the REIT is. Like in a company of shares, the company floats the shares, make the public issue, and you own a small fraction of the company by buying the share of that company. Same way, you are owning a fraction of the real estate owned by that company who has floated the REIT. Like Embassy has floated the REIT. Now, Embassy has got high value, high quality commercial real estate in India, which they are renting out to large corporates. So their clients are very A-class customers, AAA customers. And all those AAA customers are owning those properties, they are paying rent in time. So as an investor into REIT, you are assured of the rental coming in time and your dividend coming in time. So the biggest advantage of REIT is that your dividend will come timely, assured 6 to 7% dividend you will be getting. And on top of it, there will be appreciation of the property which the REIT is owning. Those you are the owner of the REIT, part owner of the REIT. So all the appreciation of the property is also yours. So you not only get the dividend, you also get the appreciation by way of whenever they sell those properties, you get capital gains advantage as well. And you can get special dividends.
But what about the risk factors? Because mutual fund, they always caution us that you must take care of all the risk, read all the terms and conditions, etc. So does this also come with the risk factors? How do you take care of them?
It has got lesser risk compared to mutual funds because mutual fund underlying asset is your stocks. And stocks, the variations, the complete graph of stock is always going up and down. So the variation in the stock price is very, very high. Whereas in the real estate, the variations are not that high. The extremes are not that high. So always, if you see the real estate graph, is always going up, up and up only.
Yeah.
It rarely goes down, except very like a doomsday scenario of like 2008.
Right.
Like some scenario comes, then also again it has a propensity of going up.
Yeah.
So the risk factor for investor is lesser in case of REIT as compared to mutual fund of shares.
Right. So it is for an investor or a small investors.
Only thing
It's a good option.
is a good option, but minimum investment should be 50,000
A year.
at a time. Like in installment of 50,000, installment 25,000,
But
like
that is per year or per
No, you can see if you're buying for IPO. If there's IPO of REIT,
Yeah.
then the minimum investment could be 25,000 to 50,000, not like 500 rupees which you can put in mutual fund or buy share of say 14,000 rupees you can invest to IPO. 14,000, 15,000 you can invest into IPO.
Yeah.
Where in case of REIT it will be minimum investment of 25,000, 50,000 like that in case of IPO of a REIT. But in case of secondary market,
Yeah.
like you're buying share for one share also you can buy in the secondary market.
Yeah.
Same way you can buy one REIT also
Yeah.
in the secondary market.
Yeah.
You can, they're listed, Embassy is listed, Mindspace is listed. So
Yeah.
you can buy a single REIT also.
Yeah.
You can buy, like you buy a share in the secondary market.
But that 50,000, 25,000 that you're talking about is a one-time investment
One time
per
investment. No, one time investment. If the REIT is coming out like an IPO,
year? Okay.
whenever REIT comes as an IPO. Presently, there's no IPO coming for the REIT.
Okay.
Presently. But India has got very good scope if anyone wants to come out for the REIT, any international like BlackRock or any international company wants to plot REIT in India, they can. REIT is also controlled by SEBI.
Which is also controlled
This is
by
also
SEBI.
controlled by
That's a good
SEBI.
thing,
It's
yes.
SEBI.
Controlled.
SEBI monitors it.
Yeah, yeah. Mr. Beria, now India has the largest, young population in the country,
Yes,
yes,
true.
in the world.
One of the
We are
youngest in the world.
youngest in the world. So these young people, when they are growing and start working, they have a very emotional and connect with buying first-time real estate
Right.
property.
True.
Very in that emotion, in that kind of excitement, that they're buying first time and it's going to be their own, they might miss out a lot of things. So what would be your advice to these first time investors who are actually buying a property? What care they should take and how you could help them?
See, first of all, buying a first real estate is a very emotional subject, no doubt about it.
Yes,
But everyone has to one day buy a real estate.
yes.
Because you cannot go on staying in a rental accommodation where there are a lot of disadvantages.
Right.
And you get a notice from the landlord and you have to vacate suddenly with 1 month notice.
Yes.
So all those kind of risks are there for rental accommodations.
Right.
So at the earliest opportunity, one should try to buy a real estate of his own.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Now, how to take care of it? See, basically, out of your total earning, suppose a person is a salaried employee.
Right.
Out of his total earning, suppose he
Most of them would be salaried
Yeah.
employees. Yes.
It's better. It's
Yeah.
better that those who are company executives, they go for real estate investment because
Yes.
they are assured of paying the EMI in time.
Right.
So suppose your monthly earning is 1 lakh rupees.
Yes.
So your EMI should not exceed 30,000.
Okay.
Or around 30% or 35% maximum you should go for EMI.
Of
You
your
should-
monthly income.
yeah. So you should take a house according to your income. Suppose
Yeah.
your income is 5 lakhs,
Right.
then your EMI can be up to 1,50,000.
Right.
So that you should be very careful. It's not that 50%, more than 50% of a salary goes in EMI.
Yeah.
That is not a proper proposition.
Right.
It's not a proper proposition.
So, and what are the other factors they should consider? And you would help them to actually buy, because they might miss out a lot of things in that emotion and that excitement.
No, I think I've explained a lot of things. Like one has to go for RERA uploaded website, company details, read word by word, engage some good professional, real estate professional. They should engage, and they should also delegate the task of negotiation.
Yeah.
Because see, anyway, they are not paying brokerage for the under construction property.
Right.
For the new property, they are not going to pay any brokerage to expert like us. So at least they can pay some amount for negotiation.
Right.
So then we can negotiate for them very nicely with the builders and get them good. So suppose they pay X amount, they get benefit of 3x.
Right.
They'll save money 3x.
3x. Yes.
So it's better to engage a good expert, real estate expert, for engage them in negotiation with the builders.
Yeah.
Then they will take care of all the legalities. They will take care of the negotiation, get good discounts also.
Yeah.
Like I said, the corporates can also get for group booking.
Yeah.
Corporates can go for group booking for the employees and take the benefit of negotiation
Right.
and take the discount for the employees. So all those things are possible. And we are not actually paying too much attention on the negotiation.
Yeah.
As I told you, while buying the property, you have to buy it 10 to 20% cheaper.
Cheaper.
So that a lot of negotiation skills are required.
Right.
And there you should engage experts.
Right. So it is actually more advisable for new first-time buyers to approach consultants and companies like yours.
It's very important.
Very important. Yes. So
Because
that
they're not paying brokerage.
all round give them.
They are not paying brokerage at all.
Yeah, they're not paying.
They can pay some small amount for negotiations.
Yeah.
Some fees.
So even if they're buying
fees.
a reseller property, probably
Reseller.
they'll have to pay a small amount.
Yeah.
But at least they will be saved from so many other
Right,
hassles,
right. No, resale they have to pay the brokerage.
Yeah.
But most of the property primary market,
Yes.
which are available under construction properties, only builder pays the brokerage to us.
Yeah.
Builder pays the brokerage.
Yeah.
So we are giving free service.
Right.
We give free service to the general buyers.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing, Mr. Beria, is there are a lot of NRIs, non-resident Indians, who want to buy property in India because they feel someday they might come back.
Yeah.
You know, whenever they come and stay in India for 6 months. So, what are the challenges that they face, and how do they overcome by approaching people like you?
See, in case of NRIs,
Yeah.
if you see, most of the NRIs have at least one property in India.
Yeah.
Most of the NRIs, they are very affluent people.
Yeah.
And because they are affluent, they like to have at least one property in their native town, native city which they like to stay after retirement.
Uh-huh.
Now, problem with the NRI happens that they want someone to look after the property.
Right.
They want an expert who can look after the property. So they cannot just give power of attorney to XYZ.
Right.
So they want someone who's they know very closely,
Professional,
to professional to whom they can give power of attorney
Yes.
for putting the property on rent
Right.
and manage the property, change the tenants. After 2 years, 3 years, tenant wants to go away, another tenant will come.
Yeah.
So all the negotiations with the new tenant, giving notice to the old tenant if there is some problem. And all those management of the property can be done by the expert.
Right.
So the NRIs normally engage some of us
Yes.
as their power of attorney holder.
Yes.
If they don't have any family member who can hold the power of attorney in that city, they give real estate consultant as the power of attorney holder, and they can not give general power of attorney. They can give specific power of attorney only to do XYZ things.
Yeah.
They need not do general power of attorney where the brokers cannot play with the property.
Right.
They can give specific power of attorney. I advise all the NRIs not to give general power of attorney. They should give specific power of attorney to the real estate consultant.
Yeah.
If they don't have any relative, very close relative, whom they can give power of attorney in the city where the premises are located.
Uh-huh. Okay, so you would basically help.
And
NRIs.
one more thing, NRIs, when they sell the property,
Right.
then they have to also look into that from which account,
Yeah.
NRE account or NRO account, they've invested the money.
Yeah.
Because if you have invested through NRE account, they can repatriate the entire proceeds back to your country of residence. You can repatriate. But if you have done from NRO account, then you cannot repatriate the sale price, sale consideration. So repatriation of your profits and the principal amount is very important. So while investing into a property at that point of time only, one should engage a good real estate consultant and who can be chartered accountant or company secretary or lawyer like us, who are well qualified in taxation laws as well and RBI laws. So they should engage someone who is very well qualified, and not only a plain real estate broker, but one who is very qualified under the laws. They can engage someone who can be their power of attorney holder, who can be a person who negotiates for them, who can do the buying and selling, who can manage the properties.
Right.
So they have to engage someone who is expert.
Yeah. Yeah. Another dilemma that a buyer or seller faces is basically whether to buy property in under construction or ready to move flats, etc., or ready to move working spaces. So, how does one overcome this, and how do you help in that? Or what will be your advice, whether to buy in under constructions or ready to move properties?
See, each has got its own advantages, disadvantages. If you really look to the appreciation,
Yeah.
most of the appreciation will happen under construction properties.
Okay.
If you buy a ready property, ready to move properties,
Right.
you cannot expect any appreciation.
Yeah.
So there is a different category of people who go for ready properties. They who buy ready properties. They want to earn rental out of it.
Yeah.
So basically, they buy a ready property because the risk is less.
Right.
If the ready property is under lock and key, there is no risk of non-possession.
Right.
There is no risk of delay of possession.
Right.
So there are advantages in case of ready to move properties,
Okay.
which are ready to move properties. There are many advantages. Or immediate rent will start. There is no question of any delay in possession.
Right.
So all those things are there.
Yeah.
But in case of under construction property,
Yeah.
as the property will grow, you pay.
Yeah.
You pay in installments.
Right.
So the biggest advantage is that the appreciation. Suppose the property gets constructed in 3 years' time.
Yeah.
So the entire appreciation which happens,
Yeah.
you get the advantage by way of capital gains.
Okay.
So the appreciation is much more in case of under construction properties. So if you don't require the house for immediate possession,
Okay.
or you don't want to earn rental out of it,
Yeah.
then it's best to go for under construction property only.
Yeah.
But you should go for very selected, reputed builders only, and should be very clear about the title to the plot.
Right.
And you should go through all the RERA documents which are uploaded.
Yeah.
Completely, you should go everything word by word.
So you will advise that if you don't require immediate possession, it's always advisable to go for under construction property.
Always.
And now with the RERA laws, the risk is minimized for the buyer.
Absolutely minimized.
Yeah,
Absolutely minimized.
Okay. Other challenges, what the buyer or the seller faces is the disputes arising between the buyer and the seller
Okay.
and developers.
Okay.
So what kind of disputes arise and how do they take precautions in the beginning itself that they don't arise?
See, when it comes to resale properties, I will come to resale. We have discussed a lot about under construction properties.
Right.
When there is a resale of properties,
Right.
then the risks are much bigger.
Yeah.
The risks are much bigger. So one has to go for 30-year search of the property.
Right.
So the advocate wants to go for 30-year search of the property, find out whether any encumbrances is there, whether there is any dispute, legal dispute, any court case is there against the property.
Right.
So 30-year search is to be taken, and the complete title, the complete chain of agreements from beginning of the constructed property,
Right.
all the buying, selling in between those people who have bought and sold, entire chain of agreement has to be seen, original. If the original chain of agreement is not there, all the agreement of sale, then one should not buy the property.
Okay.
Complete chain of document is required from beginning till now. So those things are required in case of resale properties. In case of under construction properties, which is there one has to go through RERA, go through the word by word documents and see all the thing uploaded, engage an expert and take care of all the risks. All the risks, it can be taken care.
So you have been mentioning 30 years.
Yes.
So what is the sanctity of 30 years? Why not 20? Why not 40
No,
years?
this is provided under the land laws that if you do 30 years search, and 30 years is a good enough period. Good enough period by which most of the, if any dispute is going to happen, or if any adverse position is there in that land, it is likely to throw out in the search. So that's how it's a by customary. It's the customary by of practice. It is developed 30 years search. 30 years search has been developed as a legal requirement.
If a person has done a 30-year search and in spite of that and older than 30 years something comes up, is he well protected?
No.
No.
He's not protected. The risk, he has to carry that risk.
Yes.
He has to carry that risk.
That's what I say.
But normally these such cases are very rare. Very rare.
Very rare. Okay. So Beria, you have covered almost all the aspects of real estate, and it was very enlightening. As I've repeatedly said, that so many of us who are educated, well settled, etc., but we are not well versed with real estate buying, selling, and most of us do get into disputes and troubles. So this talk of yours would really enlighten them and actually, throw a lot of light on what to do and what not to do. The do's and don'ts have been wonderfully explained by you. Thank you so much. And friends, I would advise all of you who actually are wanting to buy land, property, commercial or residential, should approach Mr. Beria and his company.
Charming
realtors, and they would provide all services under one roof. You don't have to run around for different services to different people. So thank you once again, Mr. Beria.
And I also must thank you, Mr. Mathur, for giving very pointed and very well defined questions, which challenged my thoughts process.
Thank you so